Lilith in the first house is similar to having Lilith in Aries. So Lilith in the first house is really, it pertains to this is rejection of self. You may reject yourself. You may reject the way that you express yourself. You may reject the way that you show up in the world, or you may feel like you have been rejected in these ways. You may experience that theme of either having someone disapprove of your physical form, like your body, your self-expression, the way that you dress, the way that you wear your hair, the way that you speak, the way that you show up in the world. And ultimately, the first thing that people see about you is something that is it's either difficult for you to express yourself fully because you fear rejection, or others may ultimately reject you because of how you show up. And really, this goes into Lilith is this dark, sexual, feminine energy. So you ultimately carry this sexual energy that's very alluring, very seductive, very mysterious. And so with having Lilith at the forefront of your personality, having Lilith right where everyone can see you when they first meet you, this may cause people to react, have a very strong polarizing response to you, and you have a very polarizing effect on people. Whether that be, if you are a feminine, you may incite a lot of jealousy in other feminines. You may incite a lot of envy. They may think that you're up to something, they may be suspicious of you. Because I think with Lilith having this strong sexual energy, it's almost like you can invoke this feeling in others where maybe if you're around and somebody has a boyfriend, or someone has a man, a girl has a man or something like that, her man might not even be around, but she feels intimidated that you might take her man, and her man not even there. It's like people can project onto you that you're the type to do something this home wrecker type energy, even if that's not something that you're even on. People may project this home wrecker, steal your man, or mess with someone's man type energy on you, because that's something that they feel like they can sense that on you because of your sexual energy, or this sort of taboo energy that Lilith carries. And that could be farthest from the truth. You know what I mean? But really having this very dominant sexual energy at the forefront of your personality, or at the forefront of what people may see you, whether this be consciously or unconsciously, may cause people to hate on you, and may cause them to sort of do things to you, backstab you, and cause you pain because they're jealous of you, or they feel like you're gonna do something to take their man, or whatever the case is. People will reject you for simply who you are and simply how you show up in the world. And so you may have this feeling you need to tone it down so that you don't intimidate other people. You may have this feeling oh, well, I can't be myself, or people are calling me fast tail. You know what I mean? You may have been called fast ever since you were little, or you know what I mean? And you have to tone down your Lilith energy so that you don't make anyone else feel uncomfortable. But ultimately this begins. So instead of everyone else rejecting you for who you are and how you show up in the world, it becomes this inner rejection where you have to tone yourself down, because you feel like your mere presence may rock the boat, or may cause some type of disturbance in the energy field of the room. You grab attention. You're someone that grabs attention. People look at you, people notice you, and you don't even have to try. And that incites a lot of envy, especially if you're a feminine, especially with other feminines, And so that is something that you may have to struggle with and have to overcome. And you have to go ahead and stand in your true power and stand in who you are, regardless of who it makes uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So really with Lilith in the first house, or Lilith in Aries, it's having this relationship, having this Lilith relationship with how you assert yourself. Well, actually, no, I'm going to go into, So having Lilith in the first house or Lilith in Aries is kind of like having this Lilith-like relationship with how you take action and how you assert yourself in the world, because the first house is home to the planet of Mars, which Mars is how we initiate action into our lives. Mars is it's the ultimate Lilith energy, because Mars has so much to do with sex as well. So having this very like warlike energy, you have this like warrior spirit, this fierce warrior goddess or warrior god type energy. If you have this Martian Lilith type energy at the forefront of your personality, people, like I said, will feel intimidated, or they'll feel kind of like on guard, and they don't really know why they're on guard. Like, what are you protecting yourself from? Or like, what do you like? It's almost like if people do things for you, or people see you, or people give you compliments or whatever, it's almost like if somebody gives you a compliment, they're going to feel like it takes something from them. Like, you may have like a weird relationship where people can't compliment you because they feel like it takes something from them, or like they're very jealous of you. So like Lilith in the first house, you have to, you may, because I don't want to speak in absolute, but this may indicate that you have a very unique and very complex relationship with how you assert yourself in the world, where you may struggle with this energy. You may struggle with asserting yourself. You may struggle with standing up for yourself. You may struggle with the Aries energy, where struggling with the Aries energy is like not feeling like you can assert yourself, not feeling self-assured enough, not feeling decisive enough. You may struggle with indecision. You may struggle with putting your foot down. You may struggle with standing up for yourself. So really, Lilith is here to teach you how to assert yourself in all of the ways in which the Aries energy brings to our lives, And so really here we have like, this is going to take me a long time to get through all these houses, because I have so much to say about every single house and every single sign. But really, like, Lilith in Aries is like, Aries rules the self, it rules initiation. And so really you have to learn how to be true to yourself and how to assert yourself in a way that, because Lilith is like this primal, uncontrolled energy, it's not like we have very much control over Lilith energy. We just have to be able to direct it and give it an outlet. So Lilith always needs an outlet. For whatever house that Lilith is in order for Lilith to be able to come out in healthy ways, because Lilith is going to come out. She's going to come out regardless. So it's like directing the energy and giving her an outlet that is healthy is your best bet. So if you have Lilith in the first house, she may come out in all of these chaotic ways, but you can direct it to maybe, like, for example, the way that you style yourself, the way that you, like, if you channel her energy into the way that you dress. So if you want to dress a certain way, not stopping yourself from wearing that sexy outfit, like, be as Lilith like as you desire. You know what I mean? Because that is something that is going to empower you and also inspire others, regardless of who has a problem with it. If anybody has a problem with how you choose to present yourself into the world, that's only a reflection of them. That means that they judge themselves for what you're doing. They're judging themselves through you. So anyone who has a problem with how you dress, how you present yourself, like, it's their problem. And like, let it be their problem. You know what I mean? So channeling your Lilith energy into the way that you dress, channeling your Lilith energy into the way that you even having some sort of, like, I think pole dancing is good here. Like, if you did pole, or you became an exotic dancer, or, you did something to express your sexual energy right up front, so that it's not a secret, or it's not something that people are like offended or surprised by. It's just you know what I mean? So really also having Lilith in the first house, and having Lilith even more so if it's making an aspect or, conjunct your ascendant or your rising sign, Lilith in the first house is like being sexualized, like being overly sexualized. And even from a young child, like people seeing you as a sexual being or projecting this sort of like fast or, whatever on you from a young age. So if you have Lilith in the first house, even making an aspect to like, unfortunately, making an aspect to the sun or making an aspect to, Saturn or Mars, really this may indicate like sexual abuse. It may indicate being sexually abused, and being overly sexualized. That's a really dark aspect. But I mean, I've seen a lot of this in different birth charts, and it's unfortunately one of those things where it's like Lilith is the dark sexual energy. It's kind of like the demonic, the dark, twisted sort of energy. Lilith represents a lot of those things. And I'm not going to go too deep into it, but anything really twisted and dark and just, terrible, you know what I mean, is really where Lilith is in the taboo. This may be even like things such as, I don't want to say too much on YouTube or Spotify. I'm not sure how they flag things, but having this theme of Lilith as it pertains to your physical form, and whether that be told that your body is not, something is wrong with your body, having Lilith opposite your ascendant as well, or making an aspect to your ascendant, or making an aspect to your first house, which I don't know if that even is a thing, like if aspects to your houses are a real thing. But so that's where we have to overcome, Lilith that's where you have to overcome that energy in your life, is in the first house. So yes. So there's Lilith in Aries. So I would also like to add that really having Lilith in the first house, or having a Lilith in Aries, this may indicate that you have a very strong and assertive sexual nature. This may indicate that you are someone who likes to take control in the bedroom, and someone who is very dominant in that way. And also it may indicate being a little bit selfish in the bedroom as well. So you may be really focused on your own needs, and maybe not as focused on the needs of your partner or whoever you're with. So you may desire, you may need to be with someone who's a little bit more attentive to you in the bedroom, so that way that you don't want to be with someone who's also that way, who's also a little bit more self-focused. It's not a bad thing. But having someone that can kind of cater to you, someone that can meet your needs, and someone who's very unselfish. So like somebody with strong Virgo and Pisces placements, even like a Virgo, Pisces, Mars would be really great for a Lilith in Aries or Lilith in the first house. Okay, so that concludes Lilith in the first house and Lilith in Aries. So we're going to move on to Lilith in the second house and Lilith in Taurus.